KAnOE. All the dignitaries, please. Thank you, sirs and madam.
Professor Chandra, gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this wonderful event leading to starting of a new center. And I think nothing is more joyous than part of inception. And so I'm very glad to be here. This is also my first visit here. And so it's that much more. I've always wondered, passing by on Banchankri, what happened within the walls of these institutions. And I know now that you're in wonderful hands of Professor Mahesh and Professor Murthy. So great. I'm not an expert in knowledge management or data analytics, but as part of the institution on the other side of the city, we indulge a little bit into these domains as well. And what fascinates me most about this endeavor is how fluid are the boundaries between different disciplines. And I think Professor Mahesh, you, by ways, Professor Mahesh, you really need to be commended for bridging these boundaries. Knowledge is happening at the boundaries of disciplines. And no single discipline today is capable of solving the very complex problems that our country or all countries kind of face. And your center will draw upon linguistics, will draw upon semiotics, will draw upon computer science, of course, will draw upon math modelers, and will draw upon sociologists to be able to solve large problems. And I think that is the promise of new disciplines, and as well as the challenge of new problems that we have today. I was also thinking while the inauguration was happening. I come from the city of Allahabad in UP, and recently they had Kumbh Mela, which is and it seems that the constellation of stars this time was such that this Kumbh was very special in that it happened once in 144 years or something of that kind. Now, which led to more than several crores of people coming on few key days to visit. And I've always wondered, do we have any information on them? You talked about difficulty in data collection, and I'm quite sure anybody entering into the Kumbh Mela ground would have been tagged some way or the other. But if there was a mechanism of capturing demographic information, of capturing maybe biological information through blood samples or some other device which is non-intrusive, I'm quite sure today we've had a database which would reveal a lot about happenings in our country and in the world, because that's a place and that's an event where people came from all over the country, from the smallest village in northeastern India to the biggest town in western India. So there is a phenomenal need to be able to create information, and information from which then we can draw inferences about who we are, about how we live, about how we conduct our lives, about how we make choices, and so on and so forth. And I think the power of media, the power of computing today allows us to do that. It probably, what limits us is our own imagination. And I hope our center here would be able to transcend that boundary, a boundaryless imagination domain, and be able to create an environment which allows us to think very deeply. There's a student of ours from Bangalore who used to work with Infosys and now has set up a social media company doing analytics on social behavior. And I was just, when he was explaining to me in his office what is it that his company is going to do, says that I need to understand from the traffic that is going on internet on what is the proclivity of people to give philanthropic donations. Now that's amazing, isn't it? That you and I, when we talk either on a mobile phone or you and I when we transact on the net, we are revealing fair bit of our own preferences through how we talk, what we write, what sites we visit, what data we access. And I think this is exactly what ontological engineering and probably big data analytics would allow you to do. And if you can channel and say, oh, you know, here is a person, a group of people who are very interested in engaging with educational institutions. Because much of their search has been of that process. Now, how do you develop tools? How do you reach out? And then the commerce and then the social enterprises and everybody goes. So what you will do here will really define in quite some ways how the country and the world will operate in times to come. So I'm very delighted that that a center of this kind is being set up. A second related domain where I think there is a great possibility is in the public service delivery. This is another area where we do not have either good data, or even where there is a lot of data, especially in healthcare, where there is a lot of data now available, we do not have mechanisms for modeling them appropriately to draw insights on healthcare matrices and healthcare indices. And I think, or for that matter, even getting a driver's license and so on and so forth. I mean, there is so much of data and so much, but how do you parse various parts of the data which are sitting in different domains, in different ministries, in different departments of the government, to be able to draw some very interesting. And I think the center should work with the government of Karnataka to make that all their data is available to you across all departments. And I think it will be the biggest service that anybody could do to the government, for that matter. And once we have that, the process of delivery of public services becomes that much more efficient, that much more effective through better modeling, through better understanding of data. So there's a great opportunity to marry technology with problems of society, and I hope that happens. One last thought, and that is our country has one big, amongst many strengths, one big challenge, and the challenge is that we never see undergraduates as strong partners in learning and generation of knowledge. We always see undergraduates as if they are only recipients of knowledge. And I think until and unless, and that's the largest group, masters and PhD is such tiny group of people that to hope that the world's problem will get solved by this very tiny group of people would not be the most accurate way of addressing these issues. So if this if your center is able to bring a value of research and amongst the undergraduates, get them involved in these processes, I'm very sure the outcomes are going to be many-fold more valuable than what it would be otherwise. So thank you very much. Congratulations to PES, TechWhip, and all of you.